Hey everyone, welcome to another video, and today what we're going to be doing is distilling all of the key learnings and key findings from the past 2 weeks of coaching into one video. So, over the past 2 weeks, I've done 21 individual mid lane coaching sessions from a mixture of gold, platinum, and diamond players, also from a mixture of EU West, NA, and Oceanic players. So, I'm not here to say, look what I found, guys, look at this, look at this, look at this. I'm here to show you, this is what I found, this is why it's important, this is an example of it literally happening in real time, and what you can actually do to fix this problem and, steps moving forward, essentially. So we're going to be covering the overall mentality and approach towards the game. We're going to be talking about invisible narratives, mental blocks, champ pool issues, confidence issues, gaps in knowledge within the game, the very specific things within the game that people aren't considering or they literally don't know that's really hurting their LP gains, and also a lot of bad solo queue habits that people have that is literally costing them games. We're going to be talking about some of the surprising positives I found from the coaching sessions. We're going to be talking about the misconceptions about coaching and actually how to get max value from my coaching. And then I'm going to end off the video by talking about some of the recommendations for you guys moving forward after watching this video. Now, before we get into the details, guys, and get into the nitty gritty, I want to quickly share with you something that I found that was quite interesting. So before I did any of these coaching sessions, I had my initial assumptions and initial theories about what the differences were between the average gold, platinum, and diamond player, but I never really had the chance to solidify them. But now I've had that luxury, which is really, really awesome. So what I found, and the biggest reasons why people were stuck in gold, all revolved around poor laning fundamentals. They don't know how to reliably get leads, and this is why you always hear gold players, they throw around the term coin flip. And to be honest, it's true. Their games are coin flip because they have no way of reliably generating leads. The only way to reliably generate leads in the laning phase is to understand wave management, where you need your wave to get a lead or take good trades with your specific champion. So if you're playing Diana and you're just always pushing, you're probably never going to find an opportunity to get a good trade onto your opponent because they're so close to the tower. Just really basic laning fundamentals, or, not leaning to one side so you can never push up aggressively and land your skill shots. Basic laning fundamentals, basic champion mastery. That's why there's no consistency. So if you aren't consistently taking good trades in lane, you're not going to win lane, which means that you're never going to get to platinum. Because the difference between gold and platinum is literally winning lane. Whereas in platinum, people know how to win their lane and get ahead in the lane, but they don't know all the small details. They don't understand or even know the small details that is actually influencing their ability to translate their leads. This is where more of the macro game stuff comes into play, a bit more side lane awareness, teammate awareness, a little bit of tempo, that sort of thing, advanced wave manipulation, calling objectives, that sort of thing. It's all the small details that really allow a platinum player to get to diamond, to translate that lead and really 1v9 carry. Now, when you're in diamond, this is where a lot of people have mental blocks, by the way. Out of all the coaching clients that I've had, the most mental blocks are within diamond. But if you're in diamond going to master tier, whatever, again, it's about all the small details and really finding ways to not just help yourself, because you know how to get leads yourself, you know how to translate leads, but you want to help the rest of the map, all these small ways, by pinging the enemy jungler's location, being really efficient with ward usage, calling objectives way in advance, calling off plays, saving TP instead of using it to lane, just all the small details that allow you to literally 1v9 carry. Again, we'll get into all the details and specifics later on within this video. I just wanted to kind of touch on that as an overarching general way to start this video. Now, where I want to start, guys, is share with you some of my findings around the overall mentality and approach some people have towards the game. Now, the first point that just absolutely bamboozled me, I wouldn't have believed this until I did the coaching sessions, is that there was a complete lack of intensity and focus. You cannot reliably climb if you are not intensely focusing within a game. Heading into the game, you've got to have that mindset where, like Dopa said that quote, he said something like, every game I head into, I'm like a gladiator walking into an arena. If you don't have that mindset, how are you going to be able to process enough information or care enough to position in the appropriate way, or process this information, or think in advance enough to create favorable situations? You're just not. And the analogy I like to use is, if you're heading into an exam, say you've been studying, you're heading into an exam, you sit there, are you going to just be thinking about what's for lunch? Are you going to think about what's for dinner? I mean, you might be because you don't care about the result of that exam, but that just proves my point. If you really care about the result of that game, you must come in with intensity and you must come in with focus. And yes, it sounds incredibly simple, but you'd be surprised at how many people go into a game, they queue up, they're on Facebook alt-tabbing in the game, got music blasting in the background, they got their friend coming into the room saying something, or they're just, while they're in base, they're not assessing all this information, and it just confuses me because, again, it's all the small details that add up to win you a game. Now, you may ask then, Curtis, how do I improve intensity? What should I do to get more focused? That sort of thing. This is where I really recommend having a singular learning objective. If you don't have a learning objective, it's going to be really hard for you to stay focused because you're like, well, what's the point of me focusing in this game if I don't even know what I'm improving on? If you have one specific thing that you're trying to improve on, it can really help you with intensity and focus because, you basically, it's going to be a reminder under your screen, like, oh, right, okay, I want to focus on side lane awareness. And in order to focus on side lane awareness, your brain needs to be engaged. You're not just going to focus on side lane awareness. You're going to think about, you're just going to be more engaged because you're trying to improve at something. Again, another way is have smaller blocks of games. So again, what I recommend is have blocks of 3 or 4 games. So maybe you play 3 or 4 games, take a break, have lunch, whatever, come back 40 minutes later, do another block of 3, take a break, do another block of 3. Have blocks or sessions that you schedule to play. Don't just play for 8 hours straight in the same chair. You order Uber Eats, gets to your chair, and while you're in queue, you're eating, that sort of thing. You're just going to autopilot a lot more, and the difference between staying focused in that situation is just impossible, essentially. And then lastly, this is a really important one. Connect with your goal. What are you trying to achieve? What rank do you want? If you're really excited about achieving your goal, it's only going to be natural for you to want to improve or want to focus. If you really want to get diamond, you should have a reminder on a little sticky note or a little picture somewhere, or maybe your background on your computers, like the diamond logo, whatever it is. Connect with your goal. That's going to allow you to get that energy, muster up that intensity and focus to, have that focus for that specific game. So yes, it sounds small, but it is very important, especially over the long run. Next one. Now, this one is absolutely fascinating. I did not realize how big this one was, and if there's anything you're going to take away from this entire video, this probably is one of the biggest things. And this is something that it took me a while, way later down into the coaching sessions, to really pick up on. And what it is I found that people have a defensive mindset. You must have the mindset where I'm going into this game to dominate my opponent. So what I'm going to do now, instead of just talking about it, I'm actually going to show you an example of what this actually looks like from one of the coaching sessions I did recently. So here in this example, guys, this was an Azir player who just got solo killed. So he just got solo killed. His jungler then comes and ganks the laner and actually kills the mid laner for him and actually blows his flash and barrier. So as any Azir player would know, he's level 5, about to get level 6 very, very soon. He TPs back to lane. And what does he know? He knows that if he crashes this wave in, and the wave bounces out, it's going to be bouncing towards Azir. He's going to be level 6, and it's a free kill. An immobile mage versus Azir at level 6, it's a free kill. You can Azir sec them into your tower or whatever, put them deep into the lane, and it's a really, really free kill. You've got a pink ward. You can pink ward one side. All you should be thinking about in this situation is, how can I dominate my opponent? How can I kill them again? They have no summoners, right? So if you're going into this game and your laner just dies or blows summoners or whatever it is, what I've realized that players, they don't process this. They're not thinking, how can I dominate my opponent, or how can I get further ahead? They just play and just wait for something magical to happen. And what happens, if we fast forward here, he gets the wave in, Azir pinks to one side, beautiful stuff. Azir's back in lane, checks the itemization, all going well. But there's no pings going on here. There's no typing saying gank mid, assist me ping mid, free kill mid, pinging ultimate. There's no thinking around this is a free kill. We're just waiting for something to happen. So he goes into lane here. He's just chilling, playing for the wave. And this jungle is actually really good and understands that the mid laner has no summoners. So Nocturne just walks mid. Azir hasn't done a single ping or nothing. Hasn't looked for a proactive sweep or nothing. Has no idea Nocturne's even there. And Nocturne goes in and then Azir has to flash ult. So imagine if, and you can look at this VOD and you know, Azir can be really fed this game and walk out of the game and look in review and be like, oh yeah, I was like 3-0 this game. But you got carried. You didn't do anything to contribute to the situation. In an alternate reality where this Nocturne's actually really bad and wasn't looking at, you know, wasn't assessing that mid had no flash and didn't understand your kill threat or whatever, nothing would have happened. This Vel'Koz probably would have sat in lane for the next 4 minutes without even having to blow flash, and wouldn't even died or had to get, wouldn't have had that flash, no flash get punished, and nothing would have happened, right? So this is why the dominating mindset is so important, and it pays dividends over the next 20, 30, hundreds of games. It's a mindset that you need to adopt to climb in the long run. Again, you may not see immediate differences in the next 10, 20, 30 games. But again, in an alternate reality, this kill doesn't happen. The game's completely different and Vel'Koz snowballs and wins the game. Who knows? So, you may ask then, Curtis, how do I develop that mindset? How do I develop that dominating mindset? What you got to do is literally, if you find yourself in a game or after this video, you find yourself, well, Curtis, you're actually spot on. I don't think about dominating my opponent. Even if I get a kill, I'm not even thinking about how I can kill them again at all. Then you literally go into the VOD, the OBS VOD, and ask yourself, and literally, and when you're in game as well, ask yourself this question: how am I going to kill him again? How am I going to dominate this guy? Figure out ways. Maybe you need to bounce a wave, you need to control vision. It's the mindset, because you guys will have the knowledge. You've watched my videos, you've watched pro players all the time. You have the knowledge. You just got to engage in that level of thought process and maybe make a sticky note. If you're that defensive player, make a sticky note. Always come back to that. Refer to that question. Did I dominate my opponent? Why not? Was I thinking about dominating my opponent in this game or not? Was I just taking a back seat? If you don't have this mindset, it will bite you in the ass in the long run. Trust me. And just one last point on this defensive mindset thing here, guys. Notice how I've got two little points here. I've got maths homework example and health expert example. Now, the maths homework example, if you notice in that VOD that the Azir actually timed flash. Now, timing flash doesn't make sense, or it doesn't do anything if it has no context. The reason you time flash is because you want to kill that person. If you're timing flash because I said, you know, Coach Curtis said you got to time flashes, it won't do anything because you're not using that information you're not using it. So it's like, for example, with maths homework, right? You know, you got home from school and then the teacher's like, yeah, you got to do this maths homework, Curtis, you know, go home and do this maths homework. You sit on your desk and you're like, screw this, I don't want to do this maths homework. There's no, because you're not connected with any goal. You don't understand why that maths homework is going to help you in the future. So there's no incentivization to do the maths homework. You're just getting scolded. Just do it. And that's why even doing the maths homework a lot of the time doesn't even teach you anything. Or if that doesn't resonate with you, the other example is like, okay, you can hire the best dietitian in the world. They're gonna tell you exactly what to eat. They're gonna buy you all the ingredients. They're gonna put it in your face and say, all you got to do is put it all in that pan and literally put it into your mouth. As a dietitian or the health expert, I can tell you exactly what you need to do, but at the end of the day, you have to do it. Okay, I can give you all the information, but unless you put two and two together, it's not gonna randomly lose you weight. You gotta execute. You gotta use the information to do something with it. So this was fascinating. It might resonate with you, it might not. I just found this whole defensive mindset a fascinating thing. And I thought it was a given as well. I thought everyone had this mindset heading into solo queue, but it's really a very common trend. The next one, again, was a very common one, which is the victim mindset. I see this on the Discord as well, not even just with my coaching clients. They say things like, you know, Curtis, I just always have two losing sides. I have two losing sides. It doesn't make sense. Play the numbers. If you're playing 100 games, why are you just thinking Riot are targeting you only? Like the people at Riot, they've gone into the database. This guy here, Psyker or Ran. This guy, Ran, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to give him two losing sides every single game for the next 100 games. And let's actually see if he wants to keep playing the game or not. Because, you know, we want to make this guy quit. Come on, guys. This is not happening. It's not the case. But what we do is we put more of an emotional attachment towards those games that we have two losing sides, because that will happen occasionally, and we just remember them, or we emphasize them. It's a waste of time. It's a victim mindset. What you'll find is that the games that you do have winning sides, you're not having an emphasis on it. Or you have one losing side and one even side, and your job as a mid laner is to make the even side into winning. That's generally what happens. It's very rare that you have two losing sides. They're both probably losing either because you haven't done anything and the other mid laners put pressure on the map, or you've picked a poor champion, haven't exerted any pressure on the map, whatever. There's always a reason, okay? Be logical. Don't follow your emotions in this one. Play the numbers game. If you are winning your lane 51% of the time, you will climb. That's just the numbers game. Play the numbers game, okay? And the way to get out of this victim mindset is direct your attention to the review. If you're not sure why you lost, go into the review, look at the first 10 minutes. What did you do to win the game? Did you have a dominating mindset? Did you control the waves? Did you ward really well? Did you jungle track? Did you lean out of vision? Did you get good tempo resets? Were you taking good trades? Could you set up ganks? Could you have lent on a certain side and dove bot or snowballed a certain lane? Did you lean to the wrong side? Did you actually gank the wrong side that was already losing? All of these things, there is so many things you can do to win a game. Go to the review, take your time, and you will find the reasons why you're losing games. Take breaks, another one. Yes, you're going to have some unlucky games. You're going to have 3 or 4 games in a row. Maybe, randomly, you got unlucky. That happens, right? People get lucky, so people must get unlucky. But if you do get those unlucky games, take a break. Don't just play on a tilt streak. And that's my next point. Don't tilt streak. When you do get unlucky, just, okay, cool. I lost that game. Step away from your computer. Go outside. Do some skipping. Do some push-ups, whatever. Watch some TV. Get a meal. Whatever you want to do. Get out the house. Reset. Come back with a refreshed mindset. And I guarantee you're going to play a lot better. Because if you play on a tilt streak and don't take breaks, you will lose the games that you should on paper win. And that is what really will prevent you from climbing, okay? Very important, guys. The next one here is lack of understanding of all the tiny details, okay? What I'm going to do now is actually show you an example of how all the small details in laning phase can completely change the reality of the game, and this one's going to blow your mind. So in this VOD here, what I'm going to show you is a Diana versus Ahri VOD, where Deathwish here, playing Diana, missed a few Qs, didn't play around cooldowns properly, and missed an opportunity for a solo kill that just would have been a free kill, which would have completely changed the way the game went. Okay, so what happens here? So he's pushed in Ahri here, misses 1 Q. So this is miss 1 Q here, which should have easily been a hit. The next point here, as you'll see in a second, was that there was a missed opportunity to Q Ahri again, as Ahri is walking up to CS this minion. You can easily walk up here and make Ahri make a choice between the minion or getting hit by a Q, or even stand even up here, or anywhere here, even somewhat behind a minion, and look to land another Q. Another potential Q opportunity there, so potential missed damage. Another Q just wasted on the minion when he could have just walked up and maybe tanked a bit of damage with W. And now what do we see here? Diana is very close to halfway to 6. Ignite's coming up in 35 seconds. Another missed Q there, not timing it with the CS properly. So the wave's kind of pushing up here. Again, no Qs. Taking a bit of damage. Not too bad. Misses another Q here. Uses W to soak up some farm. Just get some farm, because he was going to miss it anyway. Now, what do we see? W on cooldown. Ignite in 10 seconds. Missed every single Q. And then, look. Then, lands 1 Q finally. Gets 6 advantage. Uses E. And just misses the solo kill. Look at that. I mean, you can look at this 1,000 ways. You can say, oh yeah, he could have played it better. He could have held the second E, whatever. But what do we see? If he had literally landed one of those Qs, right? Yes, Ahri would have used a potion, whatever. Maybe 2 of those Qs. She look how close she is. Waited for the W cooldown to come back up, or just not use W at all, knowing that he was going to get level 6 first. Waited for his ignite in literally 3 more seconds, 4 more seconds. Then went for the all-in. Between the W damage and the ignite, or even using the E a little bit better, any of them, or one of the Qs, this would have been a kill. So my point is here, guys, is the small details add up to create a different reality. You can look at this and be like, oh no, I just missed a solo kill, whatever. But this is massive. You've just used your ultimate now, which is a 90-second cooldown. Ahri just escaped. You missed your kill opportunity. And now you could get ganked here, whatever, and it's a completely different game. If you get that 1 kill, that's going to allow you to get to your key spike And then who knows what can happen. It might win you that next fight in the next 5 minutes because you have a bit of an item advantage. You don't know. So this is why understanding how all the small details completely change what can happen. And people don't think about this. People say, oh no, you know, one lane. Yes, you can say this diner here is winning lane, taking okay trades. But look how much better it could have been if we had a focus on the small details. That's the point I'm trying to get across here, guys. So you may ask then, you know, how do I improve at this? How do I get better at identifying all the small details? So this is why, guys, I always say spend a disproportionate amount of time reviewing in the first 10 minutes of the game. The first 10 minutes of the game, this is where largely, in my opinion, the game is dictated. Again, we just saw in that VOD, if that solo queue happened and maybe you hit a few more of those queues and actually ask yourself, oh, why didn't I time my queue with the CS here? Why didn't I use my queue? Why didn't I let the wave come out? Why did I not wait for my ignite cooldown? You're going to find all these things that you're doing wrong that is completely taking away from your ability to win lane, win trades, get solo kills, which is your free ticket to platinum easily. That's your ticket to platinum right there. And if you're a platinum player, that's probably your ticket to diamond if you fix up those things as well. And another way is actually use the reverse engineering tactic. What I mean by this is maybe go to an unfavorable situation. So you go to that situation in the VOD where you just miss a solo kill or you die to a gank or whatever unfavorable situation happens. Go to that point, then go backwards from there a minute and say, okay, why did this happen? Was it because I missed this? I didn't control the wave. I didn't lean. I didn't ward. I stayed in lane too long. I didn't spend my gold. You'll realize there's always a core issue that's, I guess, creating that unfavorable situation. And lastly, understand champion identity. Take the time to understand champion identity. You can do this by watching my guides, asking in the Discord, asking people questions, studying videos, experimenting with things, having hypotheses, different hypotheses, that sort of thing. Again, you must understand champion identity and how champion identity ties to all the small details that allows you to create good leads within the laning phase, guys. The next one here, guys, is that I've seen there's a lack of consistent champion pools and a lack of games played. If you don't have a champion pool of 3 or 4 champions, and on each champion you have at least between 50 to 60 to 70 ranked games on each of them, you're just not going to be able to understand that champion's identity. You're not going to be good enough to reliably climb to a high elo. Maybe you're going to be good enough after 30, 40 games to win in gold, but you're not going to, after 30, 40 games, you're not going to be good enough to win reliably in diamond. Okay, you have to understand that consistent champion pool and a consistent amount of games played is crucial for playing and reliably climbing in solo queue. And that's probably one of the reasons you have like a 51% win rate, because you've played 10 different mid champs, you have like 25 games on each, and you're a jack of all trades and a master of none. And in terms of games played, what I recommend, guys, is, okay, first of all, refer to my champion pool videos. That's going to give you a really good indicator of how to pick a champion pool. And the next one is have a consistent schedule. Even if you work a full-time job, say, all right, between 6 and 8 p.m., I'm going to play 2 or 3 games every single night. Or on a weekend here, I'm going to play this block between 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. I'm going to play 4 or 5 games no matter what. That sort of thing. As long as you have a consistent schedule or playing at least 1 or 2 ranked games a night, you're going to get better at the game. And if you don't have a consistent schedule, you're playing randomly, again, you can't blame anyone else but yourself for not reliably being able to climb. And also in terms of champ pool stuff, don't overcomplicate it. If you're below diamond, you just got to have 3 champions. It doesn't even have to be really that diversified. Again, it's just a luxury. So don't overcomplicate it as long as it's consistent and you are playing each of those champions a lot. So the next one here is an invisible narrative around having to force things when ahead. That's just not the case. When you're ahead, you don't actually have to do anything special to win the game. You just have to make the correct macro decisions. You don't have to compensate. You don't have to hardcore roam and dive sides. You just got to call the next objective, be in the right place at the right time, farm consistently, and just be at the fights. You don't need to do anything crazy. You don't need to go above and beyond to hardcore carry when ahead. Just do your job. You can't do anything more than doing your job. Now, what I want to do is actually show an example of what this looks like if you are forcing things too hard and how you can prevent yourself from making the same mistake as this guy. And this was a recent VOD from one of the coaching sessions I did with Maz. So in this VOD here, this is a VOD of Maz playing Nico at around a platinum level, I believe. And this is a VOD where he had 2 winning sides. He'd already killed this Kiana mid about 3 times. His bot lane's winning 2v2. His Garen's winning, taking good trades. His Lee Sin's quite far ahead. They've already got the dragon, plenty of vision bot side. He's just come off a reset after diving bot. He's got his Lost Chapter. Kiana's not strong enough to kill to kill Nico anymore. All systems go. He's in a really good spot. All he needs to do now is move his vision topside, play for Rift Herald, isolate the lane, back up his jungler, keep priority mid so Kiana can't get any roams off. Your job when ahead is to keep the enemy shut down. You don't want to trade kills when you're ahead. This is the biggest misconception in League. If you're ahead, you don't want to trade kills anymore. When you're ahead, all you want to do is you want to get 1 kill and they get nothing. You don't want to do 2-for-1 trades because you have shutdowns. You're worth a lot more. They need gold to get back into the game. You don't. Okay? So all you need to do is play safe, play around your jungler's location, play for objectives, keep pressure mid, keep your vision out. You don't need to do anything crazy. So his bot lane's winning. His Lee Sin's on top side. Top lane's really hard to gank anyway because it's an Urgot versus a Garen. It's better to go for the Rift Herald here, solidify the Rift Herald, then look for a play after you've got mid pushed in. But what do we also see here? He hasn't actually fully shoved in mid. The next wave is already coming out and is going to crash here. So if he roams, he's going to get denied an entire wave, and this is going to allow Kiana to get back into the game. You don't want to allow your lane to ever get back into the game if you get them behind. This is the worst thing you can do. So now what happens? He goes for this roam. Kiana's already pushing mid, going to deny him an entire wave. He goes for a play which isn't even guaranteed. It's 50-50 in my opinion. It could have easily been warded through the tri-bush especially. And then he misses that kill, blows flash, ends up making a scrappy 2v2. His Lee Sin has to get off the Rift Herald to back him up here. Gets a nice little kill, but at what cost? Okay, look at this. Kiana denied him an entire wave mid. Now that wave is also going to crash and it's going to slow build out. And if Nico doesn't find the opportunity now to get back mid and fix that wave, it's going to deny him so much more farm because not only is that one died to the wave, it's going to slow build out and deny him heaps, potentially 2 or 3 waves if he doesn't go back and fix this mid wave. So Kiana comes here. Anyway, long story short, the enemy support ends up roaming as well. Kiana ends up getting an ultimate onto this Nico while I do Rift Herald, which would have already been a free Rift Herald anyway with that control. He ends up dying. I don't know if he gives a shot, doesn't give a shutdown. Lee Sin ends up also dying here, trading kills from ahead, which none of this would have happened at all if he just played for vision, kept priority mid, called for the Rift Herald. You don't have to do anything fancy. Then you could have killed Garen after that, after you'd pushed mid, and you wouldn't have lost anything. And this entire time, this wave here is pushing out, you literally lost 2 or 3 waves total. And now, Nico was actually 2 levels up this game onto the Kiana. Now it's actually a level down. All that farm missed. You come back. Kiana's actually a level up here, completely through the lead. Trade kills. None of that would have happened. So, what my point is here, when you're ahead, you don't need to do anything crazy. If anything, you actually got to be a little bit more calculated. And the point I want to get across here, guys, is when you're ahead, if you just play, keep pressure, get good vision, call objectives, it makes it really, really hard for the enemy to find a way back into the game. It's better to play calculated and slower when ahead rather than aggressive and sloppy. Okay, so I thought this was a really interesting example. It may save you a bunch of LP. So the biggest takeaway, guys, calm down when you're ahead. Don't do anything. Don't force anything. You can only do so much. You can only do your job, if that makes sense. You can't do anything more than your job. And actually, one last point here, guys, on this invisible narrative is if you think about this. Let's just say this is the gold. Let's just say this is your opponent and this is you. You're B and this is A. Now, right here would be the difference in gold, right? This little gap here. So this little gap is the difference in gold. Let's just say this is at 10 minutes when you've got a lead, but it's not massive. If you play calculated and you don't force anything, you just play for objectives, play for farm, play for pressure, deny vision, etc. And let's draw these lines again, A and B. This A is going to be here, and this gap actually gets bigger naturally. And the reason is let's say this is 20 minutes. The reason this gap actually gets bigger if you play calculated is because you deny them CS under tower because you're going to be taking slowly good trades. They're going to have to be forced out of lane, recall, miss CS. You're going to take tempo bases, really efficient bases where they're not going to be able to deny you any CS. They are not going to be able to tend any fights, give up every dragon objective. They're going to lose towers and tower plays very slowly. This gold lead actually gets bigger naturally. You don't need to force anything, okay? So that's another little way of thinking about the game. The next one is that people have an overall lack of confidence, and it's actually stemmed from a lot of different things. The first one is no champion mastery. If you don't pursue champion mastery and you've only played 20 games of a champion and you're complaining about losing, or you only play each champion to about 25 games, you just give up that champion and go to the next one, you're never going to gain confidence, because the first 20 to 25 or 30 games on a champion, you're still just really figuring out its identity. You're not going to know all the details required to reliably get ahead. When I learned Azir, for example, I didn't feel comfortable on that champion to probably 60 games. Honestly, it took me around 50 to 60 games ranked at a high level to even get comfortable on that champion. I wasn't going to build confidence anytime soon on that champion. If I had actually just played it all those games up to 60, 50th or the 60th game, I was losing confidence. But then finally you hit that point where you really understand that champion, then you're going to start to build confidence because you're reliably getting ahead. You reliably know how to carry games, okay? You got to take the time with champion mastery. The next one is no learning objective. It's hard to gain confidence if you're not seeing any improvement. If you're going into every game just hoping that you're going to improve, which, it does happen, you do improve that way. But if you say to yourself, you know what, I really want to improve on my warding. I want to make sure that my warding, I'm always using my trinket when it's off cooldown. I want to make sure I'm always warding my winning side. I want to make sure I'm always pinking the dot bush, that sort of thing. After the game, even if you lose lane, if you can look to the, or you lose the game, you can look to the VOD and be like, you know what, Curtis, I was pretty proud of myself that game. My ward usage was really good, and I actually didn't die to a single gank. Yes, I got solo killed, but at least I didn't die to a gank, and that's my learning objective. At least you're going to be able to gain confidence over time, because you're going to see your improvement. You're going to be able to see it. Not reviewing games. Now, this is a massive one that also confuses me. You can't say I'm stuck in platinum or diamond or gold and you're just not reviewing your games. If you're not reviewing your games, your learning cycle is going to be incredibly slow. To complete the learning cycle, you need to be able to first do it, okay? Whatever happened, the task. Then you got to review it to spot out what is going wrong. Then you got to implement the changes, and then you got to take that to the next game. If all you're doing is playing and then going to the next one, you're not taking the time to point what's going wrong. How are you going to know what to change the next game? You're just going to do the same thing. That's why you see the people in gold for like 4 seasons, or plat for 4 seasons, or diamond for 4 seasons. It's the same thing, guys. You have to spend time reviewing games. Otherwise, it's going to cause you a lot of pain, a lot of painful experiences. Autopilot, lack of focus and intensity. Again, this is another one. If you're gonna have a lack of confidence if you're just autopiloting. Because if you autopilot and have a lack of intensity and focus, you're gonna play poor. And you're gonna have worse quality games, and you're actually gonna be losing games that were winnable. And that's the most soul-crushing one. When you lose a game that was winnable because you weren't focused. And that is how you really lose confidence. You're never gonna gain confidence. Trust me. Like, focus and intensity isn't just good for just winning games. It's great for gaining confidence. Very important, because then you actually know what's capable. You know what you're going to surprise yourself about what you're capable of doing. And the other one as well, we lose confidence because we always direct our attention to those unlucky games. If we actually shift our attention away from the unlucky games to the good games that you played, and actually say, you know what, this game I carried, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. I'm really proud of myself, to be honest. That was a hard game, and I did well. If you can do that and actually direct your attention to the games that you're winning rather than the games that you're just losing, then again, you're going to gain a lot of confidence that way as well. And the last point is not realizing how important the first 15 minutes of every game are. And I've said this, and I've kind of shown through a lot of videos, and I'm going to continue to pound this one point, guys. Everything stems from that first 15 minutes. There's going to be different alternate realities from those small decisions, the changes in decision making. If you land those few Qs in lane, they're going to go back to base. You're going to get a tempo base, be at that fight first. They're going to have no pots for this fight because you've chunked them out, taken good trades level 1 to 3. When then maybe that scuttle fight's completely different because they can't utilize their time or tonic. Or maybe, you got this good recall over the enemy. You got an item advantage. And then you come back to lane and just win that skirmish with that extra AP. You'd have no idea what can change as a result of all the differences in the first 15 minutes. Stop focusing your time at the 35-minute team fight at the inhib. Focus the first 15 minutes. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep saying it because it's that important. Now we're gonna start talking about the in-game problems. This stuff, oh man, this is fascinating to me. There's been some really big gaps in knowledge, specifics within the game that are just changing the reality of the outcome of the game and really putting people behind and literally losing people games. The first one here is failing to buy refillable pot or just buying it way too late. Like buying refillable at like 15 minutes or buying refillable at like 13 minutes. Refillable pot should be the first item you buy. And obviously if you're starting corrupting pot, you're not going to buy refillable. But if you start Doran's, you need to go refillable. It needs to be your first recall. You need refillable pots. So what I'm going to do now is actually show you an example from one of the coaching sessions and show you how bad this can actually be. So this is a game where this guy was a gold Jace. He's playing Jace versus Katarina. He just died. He's in base now thinking what to buy. And instead of buying a refillable and a pink ward, he ends up buying 2 longswords and TPs back to lane. Now, if the enemy has any sense of awareness and sees the itemization here, what are we going to see? They're going to be like, well, they have no pots. If I just heavy trade once, then it doesn't matter how poor that trade is. I'm still going to win eventually. And if we fast forward here, if Katarina throws a single dagger, Jace can never win the lane. You literally get chunked once, and what are you going to do? You're going to go back to base. What do you can't go to a single skirmish. You're going to have to take a really inefficient recall. The game booms. You must buy refillable, okay? So, and for some reason, this is a massive habit in Platinum. In Platinum, for some reason, mid laners do not buy pots. They come back to lane with 0 pots. So if you're a Platinum player watching this video, and it's obviously going to happen in Gold as well, but if you're a Platinum player, I want you to go into your latest few VODs in OBS, and the first base, you press tab and look at the itemization of your opponent. I guarantee you there's at least 1 in the last 3 games where they haven't got a single potion. And if that's the case, you can punish it. You heavy trade once, you trade pot. This is where you start using your pots. They have nothing to use. What are they going to do? They're going to be low under their tower. They're going to have no way to recall. You deny them an entire wave. Boom, there's your lane 1. Okay, you cannot win lane if this is the case, okay? So learn from this Jace, learn from every player in Platinum. Very bad habit to get into, and it's going to cost you a lot of LP. This next one, again, is so incredibly important. And when I saw this, I was so confused. I thought this was just common knowledge. And again, a lot of these things, guys, because I play at a higher level and I've coached pro players, a lot of these things are just a given. It's just the level of play. So it's been really interesting for me to go back and coach everyone at these different elos and see, oh wow, something that I thought that was just that's what everyone did. The basics are really not being done. And this next one is not using death timers, your time in base and your resets to properly assess the map. So I'm going to go ahead now and show an example of how important this really is and what you should be processing when you are dead or in base or just coming off a recall. So this is a game here where this Zoe just solo killed the LeBlanc, you know, pretty early in the game, 3 minutes 50. The Warwick's in the area, so it's got that blood scent thing on. So Zoe has to recall. Unfortunate situation about the wave, but whatever. So Zoe ends up recalling here. Warwick just wasn't in range. Now, when you're in base, what do we see? First thing you got to think about is itemization. Think about the items. Then after you thought about your items, you bought your items, what do you think about? In this situation, he comes out of base and just walks mid. Just walks mid. Just chilling. La-di-da-di-da. Just skipping. Look at the wave. It's pretty nice. Look outside. It's pretty good weather. What am I doing today? What's for lunch? What do you reckon? And then, okay, you get to lane, whatever. And no big deal. It's so important you spend this time looking at, okay, what's your winning side? What's the winning side? Did they blow summoners mid? Okay, did they blow summoners mid? Do I remember that? Okay, he still has flash. Okay, what's the jungle? Has my jungle recalled yet? Where's he going to be? Okay, if I need a recall, which side do I need to lean onto? You're reminding yourself about the jungler's pathing. Oh, are they on scuttles? Okay, which side are they going to be on? Who's the winning side? Okay, given that's my winning side, that's where I need to lean. Because if you don't know your winning side, that's how are you going to know where to ward? You should always be warding on your winning side because that's going to allow you to reliably keep that pink ward alive. And what do we see? This Renekton had already solo killed the Malphite or whatever. I think his bot lane went 1 for 1, so they're not really necessarily winning. But this game here, the Zoe had an obvious winning side. So she should come in lane, pink ward the top side, or maybe the hypothesis was, you know what? I'm actually not going to play top side yet. I'm actually going to put my big pink bot side because that's where dragons coming up. And because I'm going to have pressure mid and my bot lane's going to have pressure, I can actually call for an early dragon for Graves. Who knows? Whatever your hypothesis is, this is the time to think about it. And yes, if you're early in the game, there's maybe less to think about. But it's still a really good habit to get into because if you are in mid-game, it's even more important because you think, okay, oh, you know, do I have tempo? Where's my teammates? Do I need to wait for them to recall? Is my jungler doing a full clear and recalling after those Krugs? Where's my support? Where's the enemy support? Which side do I need to lean to? What objective are we playing to? Who's the winning side? How are we going to play team flash? Reminding yourself who has flash, who doesn't, what's the itemization like, who has stopwatches, who has banshees. You're literally just running through. It's a check because there's nothing else for you to think about. This is your time to use your prefrontal cortex rather than the intuitive portion of your brain. You're trying to use logical thinking to think about stuff, because you're not going to be able to think about that when you're in lane trying to think about CSing and trading. That should all just be muscle memory. You're not going to have time. Okay, so you must use the time coming out of a base, whether you're dead, resetting, whatever, to assess what's happening on the map. Okay, absolutely crucial, guys. The next one here is failing to use pings properly. Again, this is a really, really important one. And again, it ties into all the small details adding up over the course of multiple games. My biggest tip for pinging, guys, if your laner is roaming, don't just do one question mark ping in bot and one question mark ping mid. Literally do the danger pings down the river. Danger, 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 danger. Literally exactly where they're going to be. So there's no excuse for the enemy not to see that. But when I see in these games, I'm watching the coaching sessions, the enemy just moves out of vision and they're like, oh, missing. If they're in a skirmish, they're not going to see those, hear them or see them or process it at all. They're not. You wouldn't, if they did the same thing, you wouldn't either. So you got to do the danger, 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 danger. Very, very important. And the other thing about pinging, guys, it has to be way in advance, like way in advance. You can't do pinging way earlier. And also use pings to call off plays way in advance. If your team's coming out of base and you see them maybe walking towards a dragon, do like a signal away from back on the dragon and then type trade dragon. So in combination with comms and pinging, it's a really great way of communicating your intention. Just with typing or just with pinging sometimes can be a little bit iffy because I don't know what you mean. So a combination of both, really putting an emphasis on using your pings. This is going to be something I probably go ham on and more in detail within a separate video. But for now, I just kind of wanted to raise it, give you guys an opportunity to improve on it by yourself. And then I'll kind of highlight it more within a separate video because it is extremely crucial for solo queue. Next one, in-game problem is just, basic warding timers, leaning fundamental. You must watch my jungle tracking fundamentals video. If you haven't watched my jungle tracking fundamentals video, I highly recommend it. I talk about exactly where to lean, why you're leaning then, and when to ward. But literally basic stuff is, okay, junglers come into river, level 3 junglers come into river by between 230 and 240. So you need to be warding between, this window between 225 to like 235. Ideally, you should already have one of the sides warded. And if you don't have a side warded by this time, you're going to get ganked. You're probably going to die. And then, it's not looking good. So I was surprised at how many people just didn't know the basic warding timers and actually utilize the warding to lean. And leaning is a fundamental that is absolutely crucial for winning lane. If you're not warding to one side and leaning to one side at all times, then you're either going to die or you have to give pressure. Leaning is the only way you can reliably generate push in the lane without dying. And also, if you're not able to lean to one side, then how are you going to make them make a choice between the wave and you? They can just kill both because most champions have AoE. So you must be aware of leaning. Always be leaning every single time and know those basic warning timers. Watch my jungle tracking fundamentals video if you haven't already seen it. Next one here is just mid-game lane assignments, which is overall really poor and really surprised me given that I cover it so much within my videos. So what I'm going to do now is actually show you an example from one of the coaching sessions where incorrect lane assignments really bit this guy in the ass. So in this fort here, this Azir was 4-2-4, team was very far ahead, their bot lane actually killed the enemy mid laner, and what do we see? He actually presses tab in a second here. Presses tab, and what do you see? We see Dragon coming up in 1 minute 51. Baron's up in 3 minutes 29, and Rift Herald's actually up now. We also see that bot tier 1 is dead, mid tier 1 is dead, and this tower, this top tier 1 is the only one that's alive. So what do we know as a mid laner? We know that this Shen has TP very soon, and the Shen should be at the lane that is furthest away from the next objective. And what's the next objective? It's Rift Herald, right? There's nothing to get bot. There's no tower, there's no dragon, there's nothing. There's nothing to get here. So as a mid laner, you need to call the correct lane assignment. You need to say way in advance where they need to be. If Kai'Sa and Soraka are basing right now, you should tell them either go top or go mid. Either of them work. Whether you want to go mid and sit mid, or you want to go top and then mid, whatever, either of them work, as long as you're near the objective that needs to be started. Because if you're bot lane when everyone's fighting top, how are you going to get there? Your TP's not up for 70 seconds. You're just going to give Rift, or you want to let them fight 4v5? I don't know. So what happens here is that they kill them bot. He ends up walking bot here. And actually, just talking a little bit more about those lane assignments, the reason why he can go mid or top is because, again, he's so far ahead that he probably gets pressure against their AD carry and support if they match mid. So the premise is ideally you want the AD carry and support mid, because if the both ADs match mid and your AD's winning, they're going to get pressure, which means they're going to control this river a lot easier. They're going to hover you topside, which is going to give you that vision control, which is going to allow you to pressure that tower or push the wave out deep and then come to the fight. But if you get pressure versus the AD carry and support, then it doesn't really matter, because you're still going to be able to maintain that pressure. But if you're behind, then you should definitely let the AD carry and support go mid. And also really depends on your type of champion. Like some champions like Victor and Azir actually like staying mid, because they can actually beat AD carries if they're fed and they're ahead. Whereas champions like Echo, Fizz, whatever, they actually like to be in the side lane, that sort of thing. But anyway, he's coming out of bot. He's going bot. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Why are you going bot? And then what happens? No one's going mid wave. So the mid tower, everyone's losing farm to mid. His bot matching the enemy AD carry and support. And then Nocturne's top with his Shen. The Kai'Sa and the Soraka are going top here. A whole fight breaks out. Darius ends up killing the Nocturne, I believe. And I think Darius dies or just lives. I'm not sure. But no one's mid. So he goes all the way bot here. Gets a wave. Then starts walking mid, getting Raptors. He actually loses mid tower as a result, loses mid farm. Their team loses a fight top, and they lose all control and lose Rift Herald. I'm like, okay, well, there goes your chance of winning the game. You literally were in the best possible situation. You could have been there, killed Darius way earlier. You could have got the wave out. You could have got the Rift Herald. You could have broken top tower, whatever. Come back mid, pushed and got the dragon that was coming up in 40 seconds, stacked dragons, and won the game super cleanly. So, the moral of the story in this situation, guys, is you must, when coming out of base, you must think about lane assignments. It's not rocket science, extremely simple stuff. You need to be on the side of the objective. If you're a mid laner, your top laner needs to be furthest away from the objective. And if neither of you have TP, then screw it. You still go to the objective. I don't care. If you just need to be there for the fight. It's his problem. He has to deal with it. He's a top laner. Maybe he has to catch one wave and come, or maybe he screws it and you force a team fight around the objective, whatever. Again, we're not talking about high-elo macro play here. We're not talking about competitive stuff. In solo queue, it's about grouping and team fighting. Being in the right place at the right time. If you don't do this, you're going to lose games, okay guys? A very, very important takeaway. The last point here, guys, is failing to identify the winning side lane. Again, I briefly touched on this in the second point in terms of death timers and not using your resets. But again, if you're not identifying your winning side, you're not going to know which side to lean onto. You're not going to know what side to ward. You're probably not going to be thinking about objectives. You're not going to be pushing your lead very well. You're probably just going to be putting yourself in a lot of sticky situations. You must always be aware as a mid laner of your winning side. If you're behind, they're going to give you safety. If you're ahead, that's going to allow you to create opportunities to dive, lean, hover, create threat, get more objectives, whatever. You must identify it, and you must be actively thinking about and always trying to find what is the side I can influence the most. Okay, very important. It dictates warding, leaning, etc. And the best way to do that, guys, if you're unsure about how to do it, literally pan your camera, press tab, and just be like, what's the quality of the trades? Are they high HP? Are they low HP? Have they died? Are they got kills? What items do they have? What spikes are they on? That sort of thing. Keep it really simple there. Literally look at the scoreboard and look at their HP. Where's the wave in the lane? Are they getting pushed in and low, or are they pushing and high HP? Really simple stuff here, guys. So that's incredibly important to be aware of. And again, I was very surprised at how common it actually was. So this next point here is a combination of a few differing problems. The first one is back clicking, which I'll show an example of in a second. The second one here is not playing around CD windows. So if you see the enemy, say you're reversing a Talon, and the Talon uses the W in front of you on the wave, that should mean something. Oh, okay, the Talon used W. I can do something. I don't need to be scared because they literally have no abilities up. Their key ability is down. That's my window of opportunity. There's no hypothesis forming about the trading pattern. You're just literally playing reactively and defensively. And so nothing favorable will happen. And the last part is literally not assessing itemization. I did talk a little bit about this earlier on, but in reference to having no potions. But it's always important to identify what items do they have. Did they itemize defensively? Have they got to their key spike yet? Did they go a really greedy like item path? Did they go cull? Did they go like an early tier on Cassidin? Whatever they did, you need to identify what they built, because that's what's going to help you dictate your hypothesis about what sort of trades you should be taking within the laning phase. So what I want to do now is actually show you an example of what this looks like. So in this example here, this is Psyker here playing Twisted Fate. He was actually versing a Cassiopeia. Now he gets into lane, he's actually got to his first spike, and he actually has his catalyst. He actually presses tab here, but he doesn't assess the itemization. And when he presses tab, what do we see? This Cassio literally doesn't even have a tier. It's a 0-2 Cassiopeia with no cleanse. She's going to have no mana. There's no way this Cassio is going to have enough mana to actually reliably win a trade versus a heal 2-3 Corrupting Pot Twisted Fate with Catalyst. There's nothing this Cassiopeia can do. And it's actually beneficial for you to heavy trade because they have 1 health pot, you have 2 and actually 3 because there's 1 ticking right now, and heal, and there's no way for Cassia to get back into the laning phase. And if anything, if she heavy trades now, it's going to take away from her ability to get to her first key item spike. So what happens, the default response is just, I'm just going to click back behind my character, play very defensively, and there's no hypothesis about what the trading pattern is going to be. So look at this. He comes back, walks up. As soon as Cassio walks up, look how far he's walking back. Look how defensive he's pathing. What he's literally got his E passive. He autoed once, he's got his E passive. He can literally walk up and take a trade. He can gold card, red card, auto Q, whatever. If Cassio chases down, maybe use half the mana pool, you can actually probably take the trade because it's in the middle of your minion wave. You've still got heal. This person has no cleanse, and you've still got 2 corrupting pots. Who cares? Take the trade. If you take a gold card, they literally can't trade back. But the default response in these situations for a lot of these players is literally, I'm just going to click back. And this was a learning objective I gave some of my amateur players going pro. So the players that were like master tier trying to go challenger. I found this habit as well, is that they had this default response of, I'm going to click back. But what back clicking literally means is, if I'm not sure what to do, I'm going to click back. But what that actually does, if you have this bad habit of clicking behind your character and always clicking backwards, you're constantly giving pressure in the lane, and they just bully you off. And this is what I call getting chatted out. You're just getting chatted out. This person's more aggressive than you. They're playing to their limits more than you. They're not scared. They're pushing their limits. They actually know how to play their champion. They understand their champ's identity, whatever it is. And they're chatting you out. They're pushing you off the wave because they're more aggressive. And as a result here, Cassio is just getting the wave for free, getting the wave out when she should no way have gotten the wave out. You've got vision on one side. You've literally got bone plating on top of that. You just let her walk up and Q you? Like, what? This is getting chatted out to the max. This person, you're essentially this person's bitch right now. And yeah, there's no reason that you had vision down, you had everything, and then Cassio was able to just get that wave out. So that, I think, for me was a perfect example highlighting what this whole defensive mindset looks like in combination with the specifics of back-clicking, not assessing itemization, and just really not having a hypothesis about what the trading pattern actually is. And I recommend you, if you don't know how the trading pattern goes, figure it out. I would rather you sit there and push your limits and try it out and maybe die in this game than go into the next game and not know how the trading pattern actually works. Because this is how you're actually going to know how to win reliably next time you come into the matchup. Because next time if you come into the matchup, you're going to do the same thing, or what are you going to do? At some point, you're going to have to know how the matchup goes in terms of trading. How do you win? What items do you win on? Where do you need the wave to take good trades? That sort of thing. The next point here is teammate location awareness, and especially of your own jungler. Now, I can't stress enough how important it is. It's literally more important to know the location of your jungler than anyone else on the enemy team. As long as you know where your jungler is, everything's fine. You can always find a way or find something to do. If you see your jungler in the area hovering you near mid, it gives you a side to lean onto. You know you can heavy trade because they're going to back you up. If your jungler's on dragon, you probably know that you need to get priority or push and lean onto that side. If your jungler is full clearing and resetting on Krug's about to recall get their warrior, then you probably need to respect, not heavy trade, and probably get pushed in a little bit. If so if you don't have vision or you don't know what to do, your jungle's location, what they're doing on the map is going to largely dictate what you need to do. So it's incredibly important, and it was surprising to me how many people just didn't consider at all what their jungle were doing. They were literally doing things that were detrimental and harming the outcome of the game because they were doing things they were like heavy trading mid when their jungler was ganking bot. Why would you do that? All it's going to do is give the enemy jungler an opportunity to gank and kill mid. Because your jungler's already shown on the map and doing something else. You always have to be aware, guys. Very, very important. And this should probably be a massive learning objective for a lot of you guys watching this video. Next one here is not taking control of mid game through lack of calls. I will show you an example of what that looks like in the next slide. But basically, as soon as it gets to mid game, you have to, and I briefly touched on this in that Azir VOD where he was calling lane assignments. You need to call what's happening next way in advance. If you're not going to take control, right? If you're not going to control the reality of what's happening in the game, you're just going to be at the whim of what choices other people make. You're literally just going with the flow. And it's the exact same. And if you go into every game waiting for someone else to make that magical call or tell you where to be, then you're a backseat gamer. You're not going to actively climb reliably. And again, I will show you examples of what that looks like. The next one here is lack of understanding of patience and control. So this is something I haven't really been able to explain in words. And I'm going to show you an example. And the term I like to use is poise. Basically what this means is that there's like this just a sense of control, relaxation, like you know what you're doing, you know how to take good trades, you're not getting chatted out, you're playing to your limits, you're not overcomplicating anything, you're very aware of what's happening. A very present state of mind. Now, this is what happens when you really get champion mastery, you really understand the matchup, you're not scared at all, you're pushing to your limits, you're not thinking about making a mistake to look bad in front of people, whatever. You're just playing the game, you're present in the moment, and you'll find that you just play much better League of Legends. So I just want to quickly go ahead now and show you an example of what this looks like because it's hard to explain in words because this is something that people don't have and they just rush to do things. They're very rigid. They feel like scared all the time. They're just forcing things. They're just not relaxing. Take a chill pill. Focus on your farm. Take solid trades. Good things will happen if you just follow the fundamentals. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you an example right now. So I'm just going to show a quick portion of a laning phase I played as Syndra versus Zoe. And when I went into the game, as soon as people loaded in, everyone's like, oh my god, Curtis, be careful. This is Zoe Smurf. He's like 80% win rate, D3. He's carrying every game, whatever. I'm like, dude, just chill. Just because, again, I'm not focusing on the player, I'm focusing on the matchup. I know the trading pattern. Even if he plays super aggressively, I know how to deal with it. Just relax. You can only do so much. The game's very binary. The matchup can't, like, this Zoe can't do any more than what Zoe can do. And I'm Syndra. I can't do any more than what Syndra can do. So if you watch this lane play out, I'm always doing the fundamentals. I'm timing my Q for when she walks up and tries to CS. I'm trying to thin the wave with auto attacks. I'm not randomly using my stun if I don't need to. I'm not randomly throwing Ws. I'm paying attention to my CS. I'm always standing behind the minions so I can get block that Q damage. I'm not overextending too much. I'm trying to time my Qs. I'm just relaxing, focusing on my CS. If she gets the push, she gets the push, whatever. And I know that I can't get ganked in the early game. I've got early vision on those Raptors as well. Look at this. I'm not rushing my Qs. I'm just timing them. I'm playing back when my cooldowns are down. I'm really focusing on my CS. I'm just relaxing. There's no need to stress. Timing my Qs again, standing behind the minions every single time. Now Zoe's getting panicking. She's like, oh my god, this Syndra like knows how to play the matchup. Before I was able to punish people because I didn't understand how to take good trades, but I'm not doing anything. Look, notice how I'm always standing very close to my minions so I can quickly duck behind here. Or if I see it going this way, I can just run that way as well. If she shows that way, then I can quickly go behind my minions. I'm never rushing, throwing my E and Ws. I'm only timing my Q when I know that it can hit. I'm not rushing anything. Just relax, man. Look at this. And I'm just taking really good trades. I haven't done anything special. I don't look like Faker. I don't look like Rookie. But I've just taken really good trades. So, I just thought this was a really quick, short, concise example of what I think poised, controlled gameplay looks like. You don't need to do anything fancy to win games. You don't need to go above and beyond, do mechanical outplays. The laning fundamentals give you the results. okay? And this may not resonate with you, whatever, but for me, I've been really struggling to find an example of what this looks like. But this is the closest one I think kind of that, the closest one to the mark, essentially. The next problem that I found that was really interesting and totally unexpected was that people think less when ahead and more when behind. So when they're ahead, they actually switch off and they just think, oh, the game's won. Don't worry about it. I got my 1 or 2 solo kills. My bot lane's winning. It's all good. We've got this game in the bag. But when they're behind, they actually think more because they're trying to creatively find ways to get back in the game, or they're trying to go overdrive to find a way to get a lead. But this is incredibly, incredibly dangerous, because if you get complacent when ahead, it's dangerous because you can give shutdowns, which means people can easily get back into the game. And it's also terrible because the way you climb is that you win those winnable games. But if you're losing the winnable games where you have an obvious winning side and you're still losing those games, then you're never going to climb. You're literally going to be probably decline or be stuck at that specific elo. The next point here, guys, is camera panning. Again, you should be always binding your camera panning to MB1, MB2, which are the side buttons on the side of your mouse. This one should pan to top lane, the next one pans to jungle, and then bot lane should be bound to T, because T shouldn't be anything but emotes anyway, so T is my bot lane. So these 3 allow you to see all 3 roles really easily. It's better than F keys in my opinion, and it's better than dragging your camera around the map. That's still that I'm something focusing on. I'm like 70% of the way there, I'm nearly there in terms of full habit. And the last one here is that no timestamps. There's a lot of VODs that I watch that people just didn't have timestamps. You must have timestamps because that is what's going to allow you to time summoners. Because you can ping it when you're coming out of base. You can press Z, see the chat history, and be like, oh, okay, at 3 minutes 28, I pinged that the flash, so I know when she has no flash. All right, just add 5 minutes onto that. 8 minutes 28, whatever it is, mid no flash. So really easy to do that. And also, if people time flashes in fights, even if you don't want to time it, you have a rough estimate of when it can or can't be up, that sort of thing. So timestamps are incredibly important. So what we're going to do now, guys, is cover some of those mid-game macro tips for climbing. I get so many questions from you guys in the community saying, Curtis, what do I do in mid-game? How do I translate my lead? It's like, I get leads in lane, Curtis, but like I lose in mid-game, whatever. What am I doing wrong? Everyone just groups. I can't get side lane farm. Like, I'm just really struggling. What do I do? So what I'm going to do now is show you a few things that you can do to influence your game and translate your lead into mid to late game, whatever you want to do, and a few things that you really need to understand in order to reliably navigate mid game in gold, platinum, and diamond. The first thing we need to cover here, guys, is that you must understand that mid game is heavily influenced by death timers. All right, this is going to blow your mind. This is going to absolutely, this blew my mind actually as well when I found this out, but I'll explain this in a second. And I'm going to show you an example from a coaching session at how important it is to understand how death timers literally influence the entire mid game, and how if you don't take control with calling, which I said I was going to show an example, if you don't take control, how that can massively influence the outcome of your mid game. Okay, so sit back, relax. If there's, again, one thing you're going to take from this entire video, this is it. So in this VOD here, guys, this is again that Diana versus Ari VOD, but we're a bit later in the game. It's 14 minutes 30. He's 2-0-1, so he's quite fed. His bot lane's very fed. They've actually gotten the bot tower tier 1. He's actually, I believe he's actually got mid tier 1 as well. They've gotten the dragon. There's no dragon, and what do we know? The next objective is Rift Herald and this top tower. So what should we see in terms of lane assignments, guys? We should see either Jinx Tarm mid and Diana top, or Diana mid and Jinx Tarm top. Either are fine as long as you as a mid laner are on the side of the objective. Because there's no dragon and there's no bot tier 1, there's no mid tier 1. We shouldn't be playing the bot side. And you'll see in a second, even if you get a kill bot and you have the incorrect lane assignments, you're not going to get anything else. A kill is a kill, but why kills are so important is because if you're on the correct side of the map and you get a kill on top side, that's going to allow you to get top tower. That's going to allow you to get control around Rift Herald and potentially get Rift Herald. If you're have the correct lane assignments, you get more than just a kill. You get heaps of other things. So you can call this way in advance. If you're coming out of base now or off a recall, whatever, type in chat, Jinx mid, Me top. The only reason people don't listen to your lane assignment calls is because they're already at the lane. They're already down here in the lane and you're saying, no, you got to go top. They're not going to recall here and go top. They're not going to do that. They just want to farm. They're just going to do whatever's in front of them because they don't understand the game, okay? So it's very important for you to understand that. Now, the next thing, so, you know, lane assignments aside, this is going to blow your mind. So it's pretty stock standard, mid game, 10 kills to 11. You're pretty fed right now. Vi goes into her jungle and she gets caught. See you in a second. Vi gets caught. And what do we see in solo queue? As soon as one person dies or one person sees the potential for a fight, other people are going to come and try and fight. So what do we see here? Tom goes to the fight and Jinx goes to the fight. So a fight breaks out again, even though Jinx is dead. Even though your default response when your teammate is dead is to back up and wait for that person to reset, they don't do that. They will just fight. So they go and they start to fight bot lane here. So they kill the enemy here. They kill the enemy set. And then Diana comes along, tries to get a combo, gets this center here, and you get a few kills. Beautiful. So what do we see? Vi still about to come up now. Got a few seconds on the reset timer. And look, notice how you even got the kills, but it doesn't lead to anything. Anyway, that's the first thing. Then what happens? Jinx is coming, Vi is coming back out of the map, and because Jinx is here, it has nothing to do, is just literally sitting in the side lane, there's no objective, because you haven't caught an objective and taken control of the game. Jinx is just going to push whatever in front of her. Then she goes bot, and you'll see in a second, she will die, which generally happens because people split, they're not playing over an objective, no one's making a call, Kleds has died, and Jinx has got caught. Now, instead of playing around these cooldowns and be like, you know what, guys, you know, Kled's dead and Jinx is dead, we should probably just farm very safely, maybe get our jungle camps, maybe get a bit of vision and relax, wait for these people to come back out on the map before we do something. But no one does that because no one's thinking about that, right? So what happens again? Diana goes bot, and Tom and Vi go top. So instead of Tom and Vi waiting for their team, they go for a kill on top lane. And what do we see though? Jinx has still got 8 seconds and Kled's got 8 seconds on their timers. And then Diana, instead of playing safe and waiting, goes bot and gets caught. Uses flash here as well and dies. So now, what do we see? The team's recalling come on the map and Diana's dead for 30 seconds. Sorry. What's going to happen next? Because no one's calling anything. And no one's going to wait for the next recall, the death timer. Someone else is going to die. So Kled dies again. And this is what will proceed, or nearly dies. And so again, it's just rinse and repeat. And now Jinx gets caught, Jinx dies again. It's rinse, repeat. This is, and I'm sure you guys who play Gold and Platinum solo queue, this is exactly what happens. As soon as it hits 15 minutes, it's 1 kill, 1 death. 1 kill, 1 death. Pick, caught, pick, caught, pick, caught. Right? Now, you may ask Curtis, then what do I do? I understand it. I see it now. You've just pointed it out. I see how everyone's getting caught. What could I have done? If we go all the way back here, and this is what the beauty of objectives are. If you come out of base here and said, Jinx, go mid or me top, what you could do, or even Jinx top, me mid. The beautiful thing is you push and group with the team. You're always going to back them up. We're all going to be around the same objective. Say, play Rift Herald, Rift Herald, Rift Herald. At least if they go for a fight, they're not just going to mindlessly push after. They're going to get an objective. We're going to get towers. We're going to do things. We're going to be playing as a team. But if you don't say anything, you don't call an objective, you don't call a lane assignment, nothing. Or, more importantly, if someone dies, you don't adapt here. Because right now, no one's calling anything. If you don't adapt to the situation, Jinx get caught, and you actually fall into the trap of, you know, not waiting for them to recall, you're only contributing to the problem as well. You're not going to the Gromp and Wolves here. You can go to Gromp Wolves here. You can actually recall and actually get your Zhonya's very soon. I think you actually nearly get it now anyway, especially after Gromp and Wolves. Or even just recall, go topside, knowing that Kled needs to go bot side anyway. Either of them are better than going bot here because you're going to be so overextended. You got to wait for your team. Your team's playing topside. Teammate awareness. You're vying a Tama topside. No one's bot side. No one's there for you. So, in combination of teammate awareness, not playing where your team is, grouping, pushing and grouping, or sometimes just grouping straight up, calling lane assignments way in advance to give people plenty of warning, and playing towards objectives, calling objectives, telling the team what to do way in advance, These sorts of things never happen. Okay, these things, or at least you're decreasing hardcore the chances of these things happening. Even when I played in gold, I would call lane assignments. Yes, there were times where people didn't listen, but there were a lot of times, I would say 85% of the time, they actually did listen. And then even then, let's just say this happened, right? Let's just say the team actually didn't listen. Then I would just group with them anyway. So they said, no, I'm not playing for that. What I'll do, I'll just, instead of like going mid here, and I know they're probably going to die, I'll just group for the fight and just keep grouping with them anyway. So what I'm trying to get at is that you need to take control. And if you're not taking control, actively calling lane assignments and objectives, like literally a minute in advance, as you're literally coming out of base way in advance, you're also contributing to the problem also. Okay, very important. So now that you've seen that example, to give you a bit of context of what mid-game macro looks like, I just want to give you a few quick tips that can really help you in your mid-game. Number one, you need to understand the correct lane assignments. All it is what's the next objective, play around it. Again, and calling them way in advance. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you have any questions about that, you can feel free to drop a comment below or sign up to my Patreon and ask me in-depth questions if that's what you want to do. Next one, calling off objective and fights way in advance with pings. If you're coming out of base or you see dragon coming up in a minute and you know your team's not stronger at all, you haven't got to your second item spike yet, your jinx hasn't got to their second item spike yet or 3 item spike yet, just ping it off. Just literally time and check. Guys, give dragon, come top. Trade dragon off, give dragon. We can win. I need this item first. If you tell people way in advance, they will listen. Okay, you don't need to fight every single objective. Sometimes I give the first 3 dragons in a game because I know we're so far behind, and if we just fought any of those dragons, we're gonna lose anyway. So it's better to give the dragon and like save your team from getting aced than just not accepting reality, you know? The next one is calling for Rift Heralds and Dragons with pressure. So if you are getting a lead in your lane, you've solo killed your laner, you maybe got mid tower, got damage on mid tower, always call for Rift Heralds or Dragons with your pressure, because especially if you start stacking dragons early in the game, that's going to be your win condition. Or if you get Rift Herald and you break mid and you break open that mid tower, I've said it 1,000 times how important mid tier 1 is. If you break mid tier 1, that's the game. Honestly, mid tier 1's the game. You break that mid tier 1, you can push it deep to tier 2, you can start denying their raptors, you start denying their camps, you can start pushing deep, hovering onto one side. That pressure is going to amount to either you diving a side lane or exerting so much pressure that they have to respect all the way to tier 2, and your bot or top lane just get the towers anyway. So mid tier 1, extremely important. And if you're getting ahead in lane, you should always be looking to call for Rift Heralds and Dragons. And it was surprising how many people didn't do that in my coaching sessions. Knowing when to group, again, teammate awareness. If you see your team coming out of base together and maybe you ideally would want to get the side wave, but you're not sure, but you know your team's grouping, just group, okay? Grouping is OP. Grouping's OP in solo queue. And most mid-game macro all revolves around just being in the right place at the right time. And if you see your team grouping, trust me, just grouping is going to pay dividends. If you're just being in the side lane, we all know that people aren't going to play around your side laning at all, okay? That's why grouping is OP, especially in gold and platinum. The next one is calling for group on objectives. And I similar before, call it way in advance. And like that VOD I showed you earlier with the Dyna game, if we had called, guys, let's just fight Rift Heralds. Let's ping the Rift Herald in 30 seconds. Everyone be here. Everyone be here way in advance. They're going to be there. And if you tell people to group, what it actually does, this is actually a way of helping people who are tilted. A lot of the reason when people are tilted, how they get more tilted is because they don't know where to be or where to go or what to do. If they see someone in the game saying, we win this fight, we win 5v5, group at drag, group drag, they will come and you might win the fight. It's better than them just getting caught in the side lane randomly, just losing the game anyway. And the last point here, guys, is adapting to game pace. Now, this is something that comes with experience. It's hard to describe it in words, but what I mean is if you've been in a 20-minute game where it's very fast-paced, everyone's grouping, team fighting, well, you probably need to adapt, or maybe even see someone tilted on your team, and you know that this person is going to lose you the game. Maybe you're going to have to group more often than you would have otherwise, because you know this person is no way going to respect if you're not there. Like sometimes it's just a bit of experience with playing the game. You see what sort of personalities are on your team, and you kind of see what's happened in the game so far. You've seen already what's happened so far. Your intuition will tell you, and your gut feeling will say, you know what, if I probably don't group here, they're going to get caught. That's a sign to tell you that you just need to group. Screw the farm, just group. It will come with time. But a lot of the time, even high elo, I know, there's a gut feeling I have. If I go to the side lane right now, Given what's happened in the game so far and how blood hungry these people are, there is no way I'm able to go on the side lane and nothing will happen. I don't believe it, so I'm just going to group mid anyway. So it's just another little experience thing. So there's been a few surprises actually from these coaching sessions. Players overall have really solid micro. It shocked me. Back in the day when I played, there was a lot of people with bad micro. So maybe that's just because of the evolution of the game. I'm surprised people have really good micro, which is a great thing because overall micro is hard to fix if your micro is quite poor and it's a very time consuming thing. But overall, people's micro wasn't the reason they were stuck, which is a very good thing. And I was actually scared, to be honest, that people were going to have micro problems and I wasn't going to be able to help them. Amazing attempts at things. Actually, by the way, if you do have a micro problem, that's where you need to play way more games. You need to use things like LOL dodge game or that mobalytics game or whatever it is. You just need to do a lot of those things. You need to play a lot of the game. That's basically the only way to get better at the micro. I've seen a lot of great attempts at things like jungle tracking, timing flashes, identifying winning side. I saw a lot of great attempts, but what I did see was that people overloaded themselves. They're trying to focus on 1,000 things at once, so they're actually never improving at any of them because they're going into the game thinking, oh my god, jungle tracking, oh, I've got to time flashes. It's like that homework example. It's like if you have information but it doesn't add context, not changing your behavior, there's no point. Okay, so I saw some amazing attempts at it, really good. Just pick one of them, guys. Pick one of them, make it a habit. The next one here is people have been following my guides and getting amazing results. So there's a lot of you guys who have been following my Nocturne guide, Galio guide, Oriana, Syndra, and getting awesome results, okay? So I was it feels awesome, and I think this is because my guides will really help them with champ identity understanding. I've been really impressed, people getting really good results, and this has surprised me at how good of results people have gotten, so that's really, really awesome. And the other one is great mental fortitude. A lot of people have been aware of themselves saying like, you know what? I know as soon as I see them chat, I get tilted. So I just mute them way in advance. So I'm actually really proud of the people who actually know they get tilted. So they mute chat. They don't try to type back. They don't get tilted. They have pretty good mental fortitude. And even when they got behind, they still played and tried. So I was really, really happy with that as well. We didn't really get many toxic people who just gave up games super easy as well, which was really, really good. Just a few quick points on coaching, guys. Coaching should be for one or two reasons. The first one is that you want to speed up the process of learning by getting an expert opinion on where you are going wrong and where you should direct your attention. Okay, that's the first reason. Or you just genuinely have no idea what's going on. So if you are one of these who want to speed up the process, or you genuinely have no idea, and you've been stuck at a rank forever, you have no idea what's going wrong, then coaching should be for you. And guys, I have seen most players decline in LP before climbing. But this is because they've gone from just autopiloting, doing the same thing over and over again and getting no results, to be like, oh my god, I'm just aware of like how many things I'm doing wrong. I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Now I need to pick one thing, which is gonna make me like focus on one thing. And then, I might actually be worse on my trading, but I'm getting way better at my jungle tracking. But then when my jungle tracking actually improves to that point, your attention's going to be focused back onto your trading because it's going to be muscle memory. And then you get to levels of play or LP ranks that you've never been before. And one of the clients, someone sent me a message and they said, it's very much like the stock market. View it like a stock market. So in the stock market, it's always like this. So there's like dips and troughs, but it's like this. It goes up. So you might be on one of these dips, or you might be one of these troughs, on one of these peaks or troughs, whatever. But it's always like this. And yes, for some people, it's going to be really average. But over the long run, it's going to be slowly, gradually getting up there. The trend line's going up. It's not going down. So as long as you don't beat yourself up and only look at these ones, you're looking at these ones as well. This is how improvement really works, because each of these differences here, this is when you're learning a new skill. You're not just going to randomly pick up something and the next day, I'm a diamond player. I watched this diamond coaching session. I'm gold, but I'm like a diamond player now. We're talking about most people to go from gold to like diamond. This takes like years. This takes people like 2 or 3 years sometimes, right? My goal is to speed up this process for most people from gold, say like gold 4 to like D4, whatever it is. Most people, that will take them literally 3 or 4 years. Some people never. But my goal is to get them in, maybe 1 year. Maybe 1 year. Or maybe, 1.5 years. We're speeding up that, but it's still a long time. But again, it's going to save you years. Because you're just going to figure out all these things way in advance. The other thing here, guys, is there's no secret formula. I'm not just going to come into the coaching session and be like, if you do this only, you're going to be challenger. Like, there's no secret Krabby Patty formula. You know, it's like Plankton. He has like he's trying to look for the Krabby Patty formula, or whatever. That doesn't exist. Okay, it might exist in SpongeBob. I don't know, but there's no secret recipe. Okay, for climbing league anyway. So my job, it's boring. Honestly, it's all the boring, the small things, the details, the nitty gritty, getting dirty, getting into the dirt. That's where the improvement really lies, and that's how you climb. Understanding all the small details add up to create favorable situations. And again, the way I like to view it is you do like 4 small good things, whether it's take a good trade, a good ward, a good lean, whatever, which leads to one big win, which is a solo kill or a gank or a dragon, whatever it is. So small things add up to one big thing. Okay, that's how League of Legends works, in my opinion. So lastly, guys, I want to give you guys a few recommendations and steps moving forward to really, really improve. Step number 1, use my guides and Discord as a reference for champion identity and champion pool. Number 2, play with a consistent schedule with intensity in blocks of 3 or 4. Take time in between each game to review using the OBS recording, ideally the first 15 minutes, or at least the key areas of improvement. Literally look at specifically what your focus was on. Like I said, and thirdly one here, have 1 or 2 specific learning objectives and use my how-to VOD review video as a reference. I cover a lot of things that you could be directing your attention towards within that how-to VOD review, what the difference is between all those ranks. And you can also use my coaching sessions as a bit of guidance as well, the ones that I've posted on YouTube. And 4th one here, take time to reflect after your sessions to assess things like mindset, goals, improvement. Where have you improved at all? What are your areas of strength and weakness? Why this is important, right? Really important. People don't do this. If you played a game of 3 blocks of 3, so you played 9 games, you sit on your bed at the end of the day and you reflect. You're like, okay, did I play 9 intense games of solo queue today? Did I actually have a singular focus? How was my intensity? How was my mindset? Did I come scared? Did I push my limits? Did I have a hypothesis? Did I come in to dominate my opponent? Or what did I do? How was it? How did this whole thing work? How did my day go? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? You got to take time to reflect. Otherwise, you're just going to autopilot. You're not going to be aware of your changes in mentality. You're not going to develop that dominating mindset. And yeah, this might be one of the reasons you're just stuck at a specific elo. So I really highly recommend taking time to reflect and build that level of self-awareness, and that will really pay dividends in the long run as well. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this was helpful. I had a lot of fun doing all those coaching sessions. I learned a lot about you guys. I actually feel like I definitely am a better coach than I was on the back end. I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'm still going to be doing the kangaroo coaching sessions. This was just in regards to that unique 2 weeks that I did. I'll be opening more slots for my kangaroo session potentially at the end of next month. So stay tuned for that. Cheers. Thanks for the support, guys, and stay tuned.